It's that time, folks. It's week 6 of What Happened on My Universe mode! And Raw was in Providence, Rhode Island, as the new US champ Dean Ambrose made his first appearance since winning the belt at Extreme Rules against Jack Swagger. The match was not a complete Dean Ambrose steamroller. Unfortunately for the US champ, he had to endure a little bit of pain before bouncing off the ropes and hitting his clothesline, followed by a couple more moves, and then the headlock driver for the win. Your winner, Dean fucking Ambrose. Back to hog some more of the limelight, John Cena took on Ryback. Let's count the moves. 1 and 2 3 4 5 moves of doom. Another win for John Cena.
Here is your winner.
On to more pressing issues. The Divas champion AJ Lee took on Brie Bella once again in an Extreme Rules match. Brie Bella's tactics at the start were simple: bash her brains in with weapons. That kind of backfired though when AJ Lee took this back off her and hit her. The pair continued their sequence of surprisingly cracking Divas matches, but the outcome was different this time, with Brie Bella taking the win after putting AJ Lee through a table and hitting the Bella Buster for the victory. Okay, brace yourself folks, we're in for the long haul, as Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton continued their feud in an Iron Man match. Why the Xbox decided to have an Iron Man match on Raw is beyond me, but at the start, Randy Orton was the one doing all the destroying. Hitting an RKO early, not even going for the pinfall. He would hit another RKO a little later on, for the first fall though, to make it 1-0. Bryan would quickly retaliate with a solid knee plus to make it 1-1 though. The falls would not end there, and once Randy Orton hit that reversal and a punt to the head, he was 2-1 up. But once again, Daniel Bryan would retaliate with a quick roll up to make it 2-2. With minutes remaining, the two would struggle to the feet and Randy Orton would hit an RKO. This would take it to 3-2 in the falls. But Daniel Bryan wasn't finished. 2 solid knee pluses would make it 3-3, and in the last seconds he would go for another pinfall, but it was too late and the match would end a draw. The Iron Man match was my match of the week, and we followed it with the main event on Raw, as Brock Lesnar took on Kane once again, this time AJ Lee coming out and supporting someone. Turns out that someone was Kane this time, as she threw Brock Lesnar back in the ring ready for his waiting claw finish thing. Brock Lesnar, being the beast he is, managed to hit a few more moves, but Kane hit a chokeslam and went for the pin. But Brock, being a beast, kicked out, so he had to hit a tombstone to make sure. We ended Raw with Kane stood victorious in the flames, and we went straight to main event, which was in Montreal, Canada, and began with the tag team champions Sting and the Ultimate Warrior against Santino Marella and Magnum TA. Unfortunately for Marella and TA, this was not their day. They fell prey to some Ultimate Warrior magic there, and then a load of power moves from the Stinger and the Warrior. The match ended when Sting hit a Scorpion Deathlock to make Santino Marella tap out, and the pair shook hands in victory afterwards. Next up, the game Triple H needed a tune-up match for Bad Blood, so he took on Arn Anderson, and didn't have it all his way. But he did, after a while, and would eventually hit the pedigree for the win. Who will he face at Bad Blood? Who knows? Following the game, we had Raven versus Paul Orndorff, with Kevin Nash in his streets watching at ringside. But Raven did not take the bait, and he just wrestled the match, being victorious with his DDT. So Raven had surprised Kevin Nash by not resorting to hardcore in his match. And Shawn Michaels surprised Batista by running out so quickly and attacking him in this Extreme Rules encounter. As is the norm with these Extreme Rules type matches, The action went outside and weapons got into the fray, Batista even cracking out the sledgehammer. But Shawn Michaels would get revenge from Batista powerbombing him through the table last week by hitting a pile driver through it this week. He'd then throw him back in the ring and hit a super kick for the victory. In the main event, we got the 4th installment in the Stone Cold CM Punk series. But CM Punk seemed to be fed up of losing, so he wandered out. But then thought, no wait, I can do this, and ran back in. The question on everyone's lips was, could CM Punk do it at the 4th attempt? He'd survived Stone Cold's random spinebuster that he beat him with last week, and managed to get a lot of advantage in this one. Both men hit signatures, and at the end it was the ultimate humiliation for Punk, as Stone Cold beat him with his own finishing move.
Here is your winner.
We now move on to the future, and NXT was in America's capital, Washington DC, beginning with Corey Graves versus Finn Balor in a nice, open, even contest where you could not tell who was going to win.
Good God, that's it. What a match. Momentum. Corey Graves with the Corey Graves smashes.
At the end of the match, it turned out that Finn Balor's brainbuster would be the one that would end it, keeping his undefeated streak alive. Bam Bam Bigelow was next, and he took on Tyson Kidd. And Tyson would get a few kicks in, but it wouldn't be enough for Bam Bam. He would finish him with the diving headbutt. At Bad Blood, Bam Bam will face Lex Luger, Finlay and DDP for a spot on main event, so this could be his last appearance on NXT. Now, after Tim Vice's first win last week against Mojo Rawley, could he continue this against Titus O'Neil and prove he's not just a one-trick pony? Despite Titus's best efforts, the short answer was yes, Tim Vice could get another win, finishing him with that Shizer bomb again. In a rematch from last week, Lex Luger took on Kalisto after Kalisto disrespected him when he refused to shake his hand, and Kalisto had done his homework this week, getting a few more moves before Luger would start throwing him about like a rag doll. Oh yeah, this was Falls Count Anywhere. And after hitting a couple more moves, Lex Luger would pile drive him on the ramp for the victory. And so we reached the main event. Xavier Woods teamed with Diamond Dallas Page to take on Rusev, of course, and he teamed with Bull Dempsey. It was a bright start by both teams, and that didn't stop when the match moved to the outside, with both Rusev and DDP hitting big moves. Much like the opening match of NXT, we finished with a very open match. Eventually the heels would start taking more advantage, and we thought it was over when Rusev hit this move to both Xavier Woods and DDP. But Woods would jump back up and hit his little punch combo, and head scissors for near falls. The end of the match would eventually come when Bull Dempsey powerbombed DDP, and 1, 2, 3. Chicago was once again hosting as we had SmackDown, and we began with Jey Uso having a go at a singles competition against Damien Sandow. Now, in the first few weeks of this universe mode, the Usos hadn't had much luck, not winning one match out of 5 against Rowan and Harper, so it was nice to see Jey Uso getting a victory over Damien Sandow in the singles match. Jimmy wanted some of this, so he'd go out for a singles match. Unfortunately, he was against the Big Show. As expected, Big Show just threw Jimmy Uso about, but to his credit he did manage to hit a reverse Hurricane Rana. This angered the Big Show a bit, and he knocked him the fuck out. And I remembered to do the pin this week. Triple threat action now as Cesaro and Dolph Ziggler continued their feud, but let Kofi Kingston play too. And what fun it was, with moves aplenty from all three men. Kofi Kingston even having time to hit his millions of signature moves. Bop, bop, bop indeed. Dolph Ziggler would hit his zigzag, but it wouldn't be him taking the victory, as Kofi Kingston would hit a roll-up for the win. An unsuspecting Alberto Del Rio was about to become a victim of a Mark Henry hit and run, as he ran in and flattened the guy. He then hit a few moves before hitting the world's strongest slam for a very, very, very quick win. The tag team titles took precedence at SmackDown's main event as the Brotherhood got another match with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. And it began with Rowan and Harper keeping Cody out the ring and working on Goldust. Any time that Goldust came close, Harper and Rowan would remove him from the equation and then remove Cody. This would only work for a certain amount of time, and once Rowan had hit his finisher, Goldust reached for the hot tag, and Cody took charge. The match opened up a bit more once Cody Rhodes had got the tag, and it became a little less obvious about who was going to win. Unfortunately for Cody, it was still Harper and Rowan after he got hit by the clothesline from hell. So, a few questions. Who is AJ Lee supposed to be supporting at the moment? Did Kevin Nash enjoy watching Raven's wrestling match? Are Shawn Michaels and Batista going to save anything for the pay-per-view? Can CM Punk beat Stone Cold at the 5th attempt? And why is Mark Henry running? Jesus Christ! Find out this and more on What Happened on My Universe More!